Facebook API. So I wanted to get the ability to read business page posts from Facebook. So Facebook, in order to use the API, you gotta use Oath, and you gotta do a whole bunch of hoops also to get the app certified. Although you can basically use the full app as long as you predefine the testers on the API. The approval process might be a pain, but hopefully it won't, because I can actually show them the app when it's done. Okay, so some of the hoops you have to jump through is I had to set up multiple SSL connections on my development machine, which we're on right now, and essentially what's going to happen here is I need to have the ability for Facebook to redirect back to this machine hosting this page here. All right. So let's refresh this page. And you can see here, um, right now, there is no Facebook status, meaning that I am not logged in to this app. What you're going to see here is actually going to allow for not single sign on, but basically using Facebook to authenticate a user. And then once Facebook authenticates the user, they no longer have to log in to whatever app we put this on until that token expires. Okay, so let's log in. Now it might tell me that I already have, um, I've already signed up for the page, right? But I'm not sure what's going to happen here because I've been testing this all along. One thing it is going to do, if I have not done this yet, if I'm a new user, it's going to basically show me the um, permissions that are being requested by this app, and then say, "Hey, do you agree?" Now, this might just log me in, but again, if you're a new user, it's going to ask you, "Hey, do you want to let this AP of NJ app, do the following things with your account?" So let's try and see what happens here. So we click the login button. And what's happened behind the scenes is that Facebook has now logged me in, all right? And then they sent back this data to my development server here. So essentially, what I had to do is I had to basically write something to kind of like take the response, okay? Um, what we have here is I have access token. This access token will now let me um, query Facebook on behalf of the user. Um, that's neat. And then one of the neat things is if I now reset the page, when I refresh the page, because the page I have here, the first thing it does when it loads, it basically gets that scope message that you saw earlier. But because I have logged in, even when the page reloads, it's able to go out to Facebook and say, "Hey, this user logged in," and it basically returns its data. So therefore, I know that I'm logged in. All right. Okay, that's the first thing. So you get this data, and it's great. And what it allows you to do then is to go to a tool like Postman and make some cool posts on the page, right? So what I can do is, where I have user, I can kind of come here and see, this is me, Idea Blender, and it shows me my active pages and returns a token for me as a developer to query those active pages and the ID which to refer it. All right. I also have the ability to go and um, get the data of the actual pages themselves. So here you can see I've got all the attachments for some posts on a Facebook business page. I can view a specific post as well, as you can see here. And just so you know I'm not cheating, that this actually is real data. Let's do a new window here. Let's go to Facebook. Boop. And let me go to Let me go to my page here. And you can see here, I created some test messages here. I got one with all this crazy text, which means nothing, but it's good for testing, as well as 2 images on the post. Okay. So you can close this window down. And now, if we go back and look at that Postman data, this kind of makes sense. This is all that text you saw, right? And then if you look at the image data, you can see here. Well, show me. I gotta do it the other way. Hold on. Let me. Can I copy this? And then do new window right here, and then hold on. Let's grab one here. And then you can see the image being served out by Facebook. Now, what I can do is take this data and serve it back to the client. But in order to do that most efficiently, Facebook will only give you a certain amount of data that you can send through the API a day. So essentially what you want to have is a service that will run out maybe like every hour, check for that Facebook data, and store it either in memory in a database, and then just basically, it's almost like a cache, but basically then my server, whenever a client interacts with it, can then take that data and send it down to a web page, right? So how do you do that? So I'm going to use some test data or some tests to demonstrate this. It's not pretty, but it'll work. So let's debug this. I can show you the data I am now collecting with that API key and some of the data you saw in Postman. So let's run my JUnit test, and you'll see here that I was able to basically create a structure that has all of the essential data I would want to show off. So here you can see it shows the content raw, and then I basically turned it into HTML. And now if I want to get to the photo, I can see the photo data. And let's grab this guy here, and let's show this. Give me a second here. This is the worst demo ever. And then I can just want to queue up both these. And I can show you basically what's going on here. So the first test I ran is grabbing this post here, which says testing, and then has just an image file. So if you come here and you look at what I was able to generate, here you can see that same message. And then if you view that image file link there, you can get the image by itself. So I could send this then down to my client software or my web page as like almost like a blog, so you could see your business page posts. Well, sometimes you have multiple images in a Facebook post, which was what I showed earlier with this one. I got Messier and I got Joe, and I got all this text, right? So what does that look like? Well, if we advance our test, we go to the next one. Boop. Okay, so now we have our data back here, and you can see I got all this content, and I basically turned it into HTML again. See, all this here is all this junk here, the text. And then see you have the 2 images there. Well, now we can go in, look at, we have the 2 photos, and we can grab the one. Let's copy the value here. And we can put it into our browser. here, there's Messier, and then we can go and grab our second one, which should be Joe Namath. And if we go here and we paste that in, we have Joe Namath. So really cool. That's the ability to basically use Facebook Business as like a blog to supply content to your webpage. So you post it just once on Facebook, and then you can syndicate it to your website. But also you have the added benefit, because I have to use Oath to get that access key that is being used here. You have the ability then to use that as a sign-in apparatus for your clients. So just some cool stuff.